Right, I'm going to talk to you about this thermostat right here, CBEA, late CBEA, and well, I guess they came out with this probably in 2000, late 2010, something like that. So if you got an earlier CBEA, or you have a CJAA, and some of the CJAAs may have had the other thermostat, but most of them I think had this one. I'm just going to walk you through the procedure. I'm not going to do a step by step. I think there's a lot involved with this. If you notice, the whole front of the car is off on this. This is called service position. If you didn't know, service mode, service position on your Jetta or this is an A3. They are relatively similar as far as getting the front end off. I do have a video on if you just search YouTube, you can find service mode, service position, VW Jetta, and kind of follow that and kind of watch it and see. And then you might want to do that first. In fact, I'm going to say it's probably going to be required to do it. You could do it, but probably without it. But honestly, you're really putting yourself through a lot of grief that you don't need to. Because once the front end of this car is off, you just get out your chair, like this one, and you might say, well, I got to work on the ground, I'll have a lift. It doesn't matter if it's on the ground, on a lift. You can use a chair and just sit there and work on the car. Then it makes it a whole lot easier to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where it is. It's right here. It's behind. So you have to take off the EGR, the flapper valve, whatever that thing is. I don't know what the hell it is. It's for engine to shut off so it doesn't keep running. Diesels can, run out of control. So that's to save that from happening, I guess. But that valve that goes below it. So you got to take all that stuff off, and I'm showing you where it is. It's right here, and it's plastic. It looks just like the one I showed you in the beginning, like this. So the time to do it is if you're doing anything, you're in service position already. It's a good idea just to tackle that sucker at that point. And there's no easy way around it. There's nothing, you can't just say, oh yeah, there's a shortcut. Wish I could tell you there is. There isn't really. What has to come off to get to it? You'll find if you go to start taking it apart that, I'm trying to look here, this end, it's shaped like this. You see right here, this slides on something called the coolant tube right here. So you can pull this out, but there's this bracket on this side, which is part of the motor mount. And it holds the alternator, the CP4 pump I have on mine now, but it's the fuel pump, and it holds part of the engine. There's a whole bunch of stuff connected to this end. So it's really hard to go that direction to take that all off. Maybe there's a way to do that, but I looked at it and I'm kind of like, it looks to me still easier, and I've done it before. So I usually won't change these unless they're bad, or if I'm like doing a big procedure like I'm doing to this car, or I'm taking out the transmission and a whole bunch of stuff to do a bunch of different maintenance. So then I'll change it. Otherwise I would just wait till that sucker goes. I don't know, drill a hole in the side of it or something. Plug it up with something. I don't know. But it's really hard to reach. So you got to disconnect this hose here is in the way. You've got the lower hose here, and believe me, these are really hard to reach when you're trying to do it from the regular with the front end of the car on, and then getting this all out. So just start with service position and then take these two out. Take off these hoses here. You have to take off, and I know this is going to be the F word for a lot of people, but you got to take off this stuff. Everything on the oil filter housing, and the oil filter housing has to come off, because there's one bolt that's actually behind there for the coolant tube. So there's one that's behind here. You'll notice once you get this off, the bolt's right there. Okay, there's a bolt for the coolant tube that goes there, and there's another bolt for the coolant tube under here. So you can kind of feel that plastic tube. You go along and feel it, and you can't really, I can't really video it. You have to do it by feel. It's right down in here. It's a triple square. So you take that one out, you slide the tube back, and then you can get the thermostat out and replace it. So it's a job. Okay, I'm just letting you know. If you got a thermostat on this thing, start with service position, get your chair out, plan on spending all day or 2 days, whatever, probably a day and a half, I would say, to get it out of there. I mean, it's a terrible design. I have no idea why they made this. Okay, so this is the thermostat only on the CBEA and the CBEA late model. So 2009 had a different setup. This is a 2009, and how you can know if you go on, put your VIN number in on the parts fish on Volkswagen, and 2009, and I believe it might have been also in early 2010 that they had this thermostat. So look up your thermostat housing on the Volkswagen website to make sure, but probably you're going to have the plastic one. This is an early. And if you do have an early engine, for sure, all the 2009s had a hex shaft and for the oil pump, and really look up a BSM delete in the hex shaft on the engine. Major issue. Okay, if you have a 2009 Jetta TDI CBEA, I'm going to tell you right now, get on the hex. The hex shaft is more important than the thermostat. It'll ruin the engine. When the hex shaft goes, it wipes out the whole engine and the turbo. And that's on the 2009. I don't know if it's on the 2009 only. I tore this one apart. I was going to do the hex shaft on it, and I am still going to redo the BSM delete just because I have all the parts. And on the 2011 on this car, I don't know if it was a factory change or if somebody has already changed it, but it had the 100mm hex shaft in it. So apparently those are a fix. So if you have to take it apart, if you're lucky enough and you can take it apart and you have a CBEA, this is not on the CJAA engine, only on the CBEA, you can slide that hex shaft out and see if it's 100mm long. If it's 100, it's up to you. I'm going to replace it anyway myself. I just don't like the whole idea of that balance shaft module and that thing running on those gears and running twice engine RPMs and have an oil pump that runs twice engine RPMs. To me, that's just like a disaster waiting for it to happen. So I'm going to replace mine anyway. But at some point, and I can't figure out where, I don't know what year, I don't know when, I think they actually changed to the 100mm shaft, but I am not sure on that. It's not something you want to guess on, okay? Because when that oil pump shaft goes out, immediately wipes out the turbo. Engine's right behind it. If you don't get to the side of the road quick enough, you're probably going to have to replace the engine. So, and the CJAA goes right in, by the way. I'd put a CJAA in, goes right in. In fact, it has all of this thermostat. It has the same thermostat housing that's on this one, and almost every other thing on the engine is the same, other than the thermostat housing, and it doesn't have a BSM. So, anyway, pain in the ass to change. You got to take the all the way out. You got to take it all. You pretty much got to take this thing all the way out. So you got to undo the wires that are behind here. This tube might have to come out. It might be easier to take that out. I might just take mine out because it's easier. This thing's a pain in the ass to take out because you got these wire plugs on it. You got these have to come off, and I already have to take those off anyway because right now I'm doing the transmission, so I'm just doing everything all at once. And that's the kind of the time you want to do that because it's a large repair doing the thermostat. If you have to do that by yourself without having to do anything else, that's a bummer because you're going to be on that thing a couple days. So about a day and a half. Depends on how fast you are. I'm sure there's guys out there that could do it in less than 8 hours, but that's not me. I'm not going to do it that fast. It's going to take me 2 days to do it. So I'm just figuring on that. So anyway, I'll talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully that helps you out.